going on, everybody? Welcome back to another electric episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I am your host, Nick, joined by the household. We're back in studio. We're back in LA. Well, I'm back. Natalie's at home. Couldn't get a babysitter today, so Natalie's babysitting our daughter. Yeah, so Natalie's at home.
Babysitting our daughter.
Yeah, there we go. I weirdly say that when I'm like, with Natalie, if I'm watching River, Natalie like leaves the house for whatever reason, like maybe she'll have dinner with friends or maybe she'll just do some shopping. And I'm always like, I'll be like, whoever I'm talking to, I'm like, yeah, I'm at home babysitting River.
Nothing pisses me off more.
I don't know why I said that. It's weird.
You're not babysitting. You are just with your daughter.
Watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're back. We are back in LA for at least a couple days, and then it's off to New York City. But we have a new bachelor. Holy shit, they surprised us. Grant Ellis is your new bachelor, and they announced it. They actually did this with Rachel Lindsay on my season. They like announced Rachel
very early
before the season was done.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, but so I'm sure some people will be. Well, Grant went home.
Yeah.
Well, they actually announced Rachel before I think they even sent her home.
Right.
Congratulations to Grant. It's also big announcement. We are going to do Grant's first interview this week. It's a special episode of Going Deeper. That's right. We got two Going Deepers this week. We have the wonderfully talented, amazing Carly Pierce is with us tomorrow for Going Deeper. Big, if you are in the country music space, you definitely know who Carly is. And if not, you probably still know who Carly is. Either way, it's a fantastic interview. We really enjoyed our time with Carly. And that it is tomorrow on Going Deeper. And then on Thursday, we have no reality recap. It's just a Going Deeper with your new bachelor, Grant Ellis. Get to know him. I mean, because we didn't really get to know a lot about him at all.
We didn't, but I feel like we got to know enough to where I'm like interested and I'm excited to hear and see more of Grant. So I'm glad we get to do this.
He did impress. We'll get into it when we talk about the episode, but he said something that was like, he impressed me.
Okay.
It just like he stood out. He stood out. He stood out. It was a subtle thing, but I was like, that was an original thought in an episode where that was tough to find, but it was like you could tell Grant is perceptive and will speak up in an environment where you sometimes don't want to stand out.
Ooh.
Which made me like him in that moment. So anyways, what do we think about Grant?
Oh, I'm excited about it. He seems pretty well-rounded and somebody that I'm interested to get to know a little bit more about.
He wasn't on my radar for Bachelor, but like now that he is on my radar, I'm into it.
Well, obviously they're announcing it incredibly early, and they never really do that. And most of the time,
what's the point of that?
My guess is they want to get ahead of it with casting, because they want to make sure this is usually an effort to cast women that they think would be a good match.
Unlike Sam M, who got out of who thought it was going to be Daisy or Maria, and then got out of the limo, and
everyone will know it's Grant.
Type. She's not his type, but obviously stunning.
That was so wild.
That was brutal.
I can't wait to go in on it.
I mean, but yeah. So like they're announcing early, a lot of it just has to do with casting. Maybe it's because they want to focus on the hype. We're very excited to have the opportunity to interview Grant for the first time because I think partly they just want people to have a chance to get to know him, which all starts Thursday. Anyways, we are excited to have Grant in on Thursday. It's really everyone's first opportunity to really get to know him. I mean, he's had a one-on-one, and they certainly aired, him talking about his feelings. He's certainly willing to open up and go there.
I actually do like that they announced it early because that was the issue that we had with Jenn's men. We were kind of like, it doesn't seem like these men were chosen for you, and at least now it gives the women that are wanting to compete, who you're competing for.
Yeah. So it will. I think casting is a big part of it, and then getting to know him, I guess, is in creating the hype. But if you don't know who Grant is, your new bachelor, be sure to tune in this Thursday to the Viall Files for an explosive. Well, I don't know if it'll be explosive. Insightful.
There you go.
Captivating.
Yes.
Manifest. Yeah.
We'll pull back the curtain. Find out what trauma he'll be dealing with.
Oh my God.
Maybe that'll be the opportunity because, hey. We know Grant's going to have to hear a lot of trauma.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Anyways, it'll be a fun.
How is he? What are his? We should give him some we should see how he does. We should be like, hey, you kind of pull a Brett, how we were like our Monopoly, and just see how he responds.
I think you ladies come ready. We all can, but like we should all come ready with some trauma.
I think
got it on
we
deck.
should give him other things to say other than thank you for sharing. I think we should challenge him to not say that once in this season.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you. Well, we'll have to come up with some ideas because he can't say, oh, okay.
Copy.
Yeah, for sure.
Horse. No, I think that's why we test run this and we see what his responses would be. Yeah.
Okay.
This could be fun.
All right. Yeah. No, we're here to, again, whatever prep we can offer Grant, we are here to help. But this is about getting to know Grant. So we are excited to have him on, and it will be a really great episode. The Olympics are finally over. Really enjoyed them.
Finally. It's so sad.
Yeah, I did say finally like I was excited.
Like you've been counting down.
So, yeah. That
sad.
did not come off the way I wanted it to.
How else would you say it?
The Olympics are over. Wow, that
They're
was
over.
really
Yeah.
great.
It was great.
There were a lot of great stories. The Americans won the most medals.
I think we tied.
They tie with China for the most gold.
Oh.
We absolutely blew out everyone out of the water when it came to total medal count because silver and bronze, while not gold, still matter.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's Jordan Childs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we'll get into that. But yeah, and also, so I think the Americans won 40 gold medals. So that's either individual, if it's like an individual sport, like say, when Simone Biles wins the, all around, she gets a medal. And so that counts as one. But like when Team USA, men's basketball or women's basketball, which both won gold, that counts as one medal as well. It's not like you don't count the entire team in the medals, right? So, but the women accounted for 2/3 of the gold medals won by the United States. Pop off women.
Obviously,
Yeah, pop off women.
Also,
go women.
the U.S. team had 126 total medals.
Yeah, and China was
91.
91.
Oh my
So
God.
absolutely, the total medal count blew everyone out of the water.
See, this is why I love the Olympics. I get to be proud like I did something. I'm like, wow, we really are great, aren't
did.
we?
You know what? Also, what we did is the men's middle distance really popped off. Congratulations to men's middle distance and track and field. No one gives a shit about that, but me and a few people. But the Americans have never really done quite well in the middle distances, like anywhere from like 800 to 3,000, and they did. They did.
Okay.
So very excited.
Nick did well in high school.
No, okay. Absolutely.
He would have had a gold medal if he was competing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's that audio?
absolutely.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
Did you guys watch any of the basketball games?
I did not.
No.
Both classics. The Americans.
Really good games.
Yeah.
Really good games. The American men were down third. No, that was the semifinal. That was to Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
They were down 13 to in the fourth quarter, but they came back. And the game against the French it was close most way through, but I think the American men mostly dominated. LeBron, Steph Curry popped off as Steph Curry does.
Yes.
But they pulled away at the end. The women, oh my God, did you watch that?
No, I didn't watch any basketball.
Oh my God, Sarah,
Girl.
you have to. It's the craziest
The women's
game.
gold medal game was
I don't understand it enough to watch.
awesome.
I'll watch the replay when I go home.
Women's basketball is really having a moment right now. It was a captivating game.
Yeah.
The Americans won by 1. The Americans have never lost an Olympic game. So like they have just dominated the sport. Other countries have since caught up a little bit. But the French, boy, it was neck and neck. It was back and forth. Some of the shots that these people were making on both teams it was impressive. It was really cool. And anyways, the French were down 3 with like 3 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
And their star player, I believe Williams on the French team, she crushed. She was very good. I believe her last name is Williams. Dribbled down the court. Well, not actually, someone else dribbled. Someone passed her the ball. And with seconds remaining, she shot it. And it went in. It banked in. But her foot was on the line, so instead of it being a 3-pointer, it was a 2-pointer, and they lost by 1.
Gabby Williams.
Anyways, incredible game. Just incredible.
Sounds exciting.
Sha'Carri Richardson, did you see in the 4x1? Oh my God.
Oh, she beat it, yeah.
No, well, they won, yes. She beat it, for sure. But when she was coming down
True.
She is in the anchor leg. She was last.
Yeah.
And as she was crossing the finish with about 20 yards to go, she looked at her competition. Side-eyed them and looked. It was so baller. It was such an iconic moment.
I think Sha'Carri Richardson is like known for doing baller shit when she finishes.
That's
her
what I was gonna
runs.
say.
Like she poses.
Mhm.
She's like, yeah. I think anything she does is iconic.
Just being that good at anything, really. I'm like, take your moment.
Being that good at running is a talent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my nightmare.
Running and breathing at the same time, not my forte.
Natalie is
Not
running a
interested.
family. Think about it.
There you go.
Oh,
You are running.
Okay.
Oh my God. Period. I am. I'm running a family and I'm not exhausted.
No naps,
Take
Natalie.
a picture.
Anyways, it was really fun to watch the Olympics. I really enjoyed it, and they're in Los Angeles next Olympics, next Summer Olympics.
Did you see that
4
Tom
years from now.
Cruise
Tom Cruise, yeah.
was
Saw that.
actually
Yeah.
filming for the Olympics?
Because there was rumors last week of like, is he skydiving for this? Although the scene that they filmed, I didn't see like in the closer
I haven't finished
at the
it.
Hollywood sign.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I guess they do hand off the Olympics now at the end of the ceremony, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to finish it.
I will say, what's sad about Jordan Childs being stripped of her bronze? Yeah.
That's the only problem I've always had with these sports like figure skating, which I love in the Winter Olympics, gymnastics, great, but the subjectiveness, because it's judged rather than like say
Mhm.
swimming or track and field
At
or
the timer.
I mean, some of these finishes and these races, 1/100th of a second,
Yeah.
but we know who won without a question, without there's no controversy. As close as it is, we know who won.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some of these, gymnastics where there's like it seems like a technicality where her coach submitted an appeal, but now they found out that the appeal came in too late or something like that.
Yeah, so Jordan was originally in 5th place. Meanwhile, Romania was in 3rd place. But the Olympic coaches for the U.S. team basically appealed the score, which bumped Childs into 3rd place. So they appealed the score, which that's the subjective part. And then she went to 3rd place, got the bronze.
Yeah.
But basically Romania, their Olympic team appealed to the General Olympics and was
As they
like,
should. Yeah.
you reported it after a minute late. So you have to report a change in score within a minute of the score coming out. So the Olympics did it after a minute.
That's ridiculous.
So then she was
60
bumped.
seconds.
Yeah. So she was bumped down to 5th again, and
So
then
it's
Romania
like,
took it back
So the rule is, listen, if we fuck up, you have 60 seconds to catch our fuck
from
up.
the score coming out.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
That the acknowledgement that that a mistake could be made. Just like in the NFL or in Major League Baseball or most Major League sports that have replay, right? It's an acknowledgement that like sometimes the umps or the refs can get it wrong.
Yeah.
And there's always, even then, there's been a lot of controversy. But for something that happens once in every 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
the Olympics, like people put like literally, I mean, like they commit their lives to this craft, right? And then to have the outcome be determined by people who acknowledge they can make mistakes, there's a subjectiveness. And this isn't like, not even the subjectiveness of like, well, I think she did amazing. And Sierra's like, well, I think she did like really good, but like, 9.8 instead of 10.0. That's just like difference of opinion, which that's already in there. I feel like they've upgraded the scoring where it's less opinion based and more like, it's like a paint by numbers scoring. I think that might be the case. But even then, like, again, there's an acknowledgement because of their appeal that they can make a mistake. And if there's an acknowledgement they can make a mistake, shouldn't the goal just be to get it right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is. I think it is very paint by numbers. I think it's like if you stick it, but then you step a little bit, that's
Mhm.
1/10 of a point. If it's a big step, it's
Okay.
this of a point. I think it is very much, and maybe one of the judges missed a stick. I don't know. I think it could be as simple as that, but it's super fucked up, and I hate it for Jordan to have to like give back her.
Yeah.
What's even crazier,
Bronze.
I heard that Romania is offering to like have we both got 3rd, and whoever the committee is to decide on these things was like, no, we can't do that. But it's like, well,
did-
you
But
took
you're
more
the
than
one
a
who
minute to
fucked up.
decide that, like,
Well, the U.S. team did say like we're finding a way to like get her the recognition that she deserves.
but sure. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
she'll probably get more recognition now
Yeah.
because it's going to feel like to us and certainly Jordan and any fans of Jordan, it's like they stole this from her, which sounds like she really got screwed over.
I
so.
will say the Romanian gymnast who got back to the 3rd place mark, like she did have a good statement that she released. It's Anna Barbaso. She posted Instagram saying, Jordan, my thoughts are with you. I know what you were feeling because I've been through the same, but I know you'll come back stronger. I hope from deep of my heart that at the next Olympics, all 3 of us will share the same podium. That is my true dream. So that was
I'll be
cute.
honest. If I'm understanding what's going on here, what?
The inflection, that was all. Keep going.
My inflection or his inflection?
His.
I could be maybe maybe I'm off here.
Yeah.
But again, if I'm understanding what happened, which is the scoring is less subjective or kind of paint by numbers. But whatever this appeal is that like who actually won? It sounds like Jordan actually won.
Well, yeah, so Jordan actually won if they reported it within that minute of the score coming out.
Yeah.
But then so Romania appealed it on a technicality and then they got it back.
Yeah, and if that's true, then that really kind of sounds condescending.
You think so?
I don't think she meant it that way. I'm sure she's in a no-win situation. I don't fault her or Romania for, I mean, them's the rules. But I guess she didn't, I don't know. I think the honorable thing to do.
Who decided to do it? It was her coaches and her, it definitely wasn't up to the athlete herself.
But it sounds like Jordan won.
Well, I mean, it also kind of sounds like Jordan. Did she place 5th or did she place 4th? After?
She placed 5th, and then she got appealed to 3rd.
3rd, but that's what I'm saying. Once the appeal went through, and Romanian gymnast was 3rd, is Jordan now 5th place?
She goes back to 5th. Yeah,
sure, yeah.
Because her original score takes place.
Who the hell is in 4th? And this poor person in 4th is just like
he's just there,
monkey in the middle.
Yeah.
If we got this right, this seems stupid.
I just think like if the technicality was 1 minute, then they should have been able to report it within that 1 minute still, you know? Like Romania should have had to report it early on too, not after she got the bronze.
Maybe we were missing something, but this sure sounds like if you catch our mistake within a minute, you have a minute to report it. Otherwise, our mistake stands. And that seems stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I did see that the bronze medals are like resting. So, I mean, I don't know if it's really worth it at that point. I don't know if you saw
they're
that.
all chewing on it.
I do feel like this may be hopefully a net positive for Jordan Childs.
Oh,
like,
for
I mean,
sure.
she's getting screwed over and our hearts go out to her. But like,
she
seems like she's getting screwed over. I think we will rally behind Jordan.
She did post on her Instagram 4 broken heart emojis, and she said, "I'm taking the time and removing myself from social media for my mental health. Thank you."
Well, our hearts go out to her. She definitely, it's really unfortunate. What's also unfortunate is the breakdancing.
Oh, I was going to say, speaking of people not being acknowledged, did you know that there was anybody else that competed in the breakdancing?
And they were good.
Than Raygun?
Yeah.
They're good. Also, so if you haven't seen, like, the breakdancing is a new Olympic sport. It's the first time as an Olympic sport. Well, you and I and everyone here, and probably a lot of people listening, don't know much about breakdancing, aren't passionate about breakdancing, just like many other of the Olympic sports. I think part of the charm of the Olympics is like, oh, this is a sport, and you watch it, and you kind of get into badminton because like these people are super into it.
Loved badminton.
So you have breakdancing, but the other side of the argument when they bring in more obscure sports is like people will mock it, or like they act like we shouldn't take it seriously, etc. Like flag football is now next Olympics is going to be an Olympic sport. You know, people will have opinions about that. So when you have you want to come out strong as a sport and represent your sport. You know, because what also is cool, even if you're watching badminton, right, and you're watching it and you're thinking like, okay, it's fucking badminton. You look at these, or table tennis. Everyone plays table tennis. But when you watch the Olympics play table tennis, you're like, holy fucking shit. I didn't think people could be this good.
Yeah.
So I was shocked by the people on Love Island and how good they were.
There you go. And so the women's breakdance competition, the Australian, they rolled out a person called Gunn. Her name is Rachel Gunn. She's like a professor of body movement. And anyway, she talked about how she didn't really practice, didn't really do anything, kind of showed up and like we all could do it. Like everyone's seen this. It's kind of, I don't know, like everything else, it seems to be like now being politicized in a weird way. I don't know how, but like, not shocking, but it just seems like really weird. And then the Australian like Olympic committee was defending it. And the person who's like in charge of like, I guess like the casting, I don't think they're casted, but like the Olympic team for the Australians was like literally said, I saw an interview, like she's the best breakdancer we have. So like, why are we mocking her? Like, yeah. And meanwhile, I saw like a video of like some kids in Melbourne, Australia, 2 young, seems like teenage girls breakdancing in the streets, and they were fucking awesome. Phenomenal. Like, yeah. So anyways, like a lot of people like, you mocked the very sport. It's their debut. And like the thing we're talking about is one of the competitors just going on there and like wiggling.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the memes, like they're putting all these different.
I'm sure it's harder than we think it is, though.
To do what
she was doing.
Raygun was doing.
Yeah, like I feel like there's technique to it.
I think
it felt
generous.
like something I made up when I was 10 to show my mom.
100%. I do agree with that. Yeah,
she's clearly not as good as that's not breakdancing. It's something. It's body movement for sure. Whether any of us could do it really isn't. I mean, I like a lot of people. Like the jokes are that anyone can do it, and sure we can debate that. That's not really the point, though. The point is like there's literally like videos all over Australia of kids being phenomenal.
she was interviewed, right? Or she said something amongst all of this criticism and was like, this is my crap. Like,
yeah,
she said
she takes herself very seriously. She's a professor of body movement.
She said, all of my moves are original. Creativity is really important to me. I go out there and I show my artistry. Sometimes it speaks to the judges and sometimes it doesn't. I do my thing and it represents art. That is what it is about.
Yeah. So anyways, like, sounds like this person's an artist. And I didn't think this in the Olympics is about sport and competition and competing. And there's not a subjectiveness for the very things we talked about because you are awarding medals. And if that's not your thing, that's totally fine. But this isn't an art.
I feel like she should be in like a dance competition and not, something that is categorized as breakdancing. I feel like she is a dancer and there's maybe a different category for that. But that it wasn't breakdancing. I think we saw the Canadian man who won. Right? That was like,
for the men's
that
division,
was an insane that was an insane breakdance.
Her quote is saying like as an artist, that seems like makes a lot of sense. Like it is, art is subjective and it's not made for everyone. It's in the eye of the beholder. That's not the Olympics. It's not like people who want to compete. Some people don't want to compete. Some people just like aren't competitive. It's not their thing. They're just, I don't know. It doesn't rile them up.
Yeah.
She's literally speaking about art, which is go do your art.
You have a point.
It's kind of like if I were in the Olympics, okay, and I went to gymnastics and my floor routine had 0 flips in it, had none. And I just was like twirling and, doing some other stuff. But no, I wasn't running and doing, nothing else. And I was like, well, this is my interpretation of gymnastics floor. What do you... I'm allowed to do this. And it's like, that's just not the sport.
It's when people are saying like, it's experimental, like it's the experimental artistry of it. And it's like, well, girl.
It's the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of wish that like the Olympics kind of had a rules for dummies kind of thing, like a little key on the screen to tell us what we're supposed to be looking for, like what they grade on, because like obviously we're not all gonna like Google what's the official rules of gymnastics, but I'm like, if you tell me like, oh, they docked a point because their foot was out of bounds or whatever, like the same way in a football game when they do the replay and they draw around like showing you like what move was made or like why the call was made, like I'm like, I feel like I wish I could understand more so then I could see what we're judging based off of, because I'm like, she obviously qualified to be in the Olympics.
Yeah, I don't know how one qualifies for Australia to be in the Olympics. And according to, again, they're the committee chair for Australia, that's the best they got. Again, apparently that's subjective because there's videos all over Australia now of
kids dancing,
or people in general. Yeah, and think about it. How cool of a story would that be to see like a 17-year-old girl be the best in her country if she qualified by competing. I don't know how Ray Gunn qualified. But again, some people just aren't in the competition, but like that's what's every time I see someone win, I get inspired by it. When Sha'Carri Richardson's crossing the 100-meter, doing the 4x1 and like a baller just like looking at her competition, that's inspiring for some, for many. But like, the Olympics maybe just aren't for everybody. Like, I don't understand. Although the synchronized, what is it? The artistic swimming? Is it called
synchronized dancing?
Is it called artistic swimming?
It did have a different name than synchronized.
I think
that's incredible.
It's artistic, yeah.
Artistic swimming.
But even then, I don't think that's as subjective. That seems like when I was watching it, there seems to be like, they might deduct a 10th of a point or some shit. Anyways, I
did see that their makeup does not wash off during like the artistic swimming.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what is the makeup routine? What setting spray are you using? Because they come out full face. Like nothing's moved.
It is a performance.
Yeah.
It is wild. But it's like incredible what they can do underwater, and then they're catapulting their teammates. It's and the Americans, I think the American women took second in that. China came. They competed last, and they came from behind, I guess. It was I watched it. I was pretty into it. It was I thought the Americans were going to pull it off, but they didn't.
What are you going to do now that they're over?
Well, keep watching.
Babysit River.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Babysit River. Oh, I turned on Netflix last night as we were looking. It's available now. I don't know if anyone's watching. I'm curious. UK Love is Blind.
Oh, I did see that.
It's like really good.
I did hear about this.
Not this current season that
I don't know if this is the first season or if this is like season 1. I don't even know how old this season is, but it's available on Netflix and it's the UK Love is Blind. it seems to be people are watching it, and the
Is it
previews
Love
look
is Blind or Love Island?
It's Love,
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I thought I
Yeah,
heard Love Island.
no.
Got it on
But
the brain, sorry.
like a different, like same, you know,
Same
like
concept of sound bites that everybody wants to hear.
I'm sure for all the people who love the UK version of Love Island,
This might be it.
I wonder if the Love Island Love is Blind will be giving. I don't know. We might
take a gander.
We might check it out. I don't know. If you're watching it, let us I mean, of course, if you're watching, you're going to be like, please recap it. But like, is it really good? Or is it just like you're in between shows and you said, fuck it, I'll just watch Love Island UK?
There was a meme going around that people were like, the Olympics and Love Island is over. Like, what is my personality?
Peacock really,
They dominated.
they've been
summer.
crushing life.
They carried.
Yeah.
Should we end it with us?
Oh,
It ends with us.
The ends with
Yeah.
us drama.
hmm
I've been locked into this drama. I'm captivated by it.
I went down
People
a
are
rabbit hole.
very passionate.
Yeah.
The
about this
person
stuff.
who started this must feel like they got it right. You know, they must feel so validated just because, like, when you get all of the information and you put it together, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And like the sides that people are now on, it's like no one knows a damn thing. We're just all speculating, but it's like,
There definitely is
Something
something going
happened.
on, though.
Yeah.
and I will say it is interesting. I feel like it's this discussion of like, I think Blake and Justin both had like their takes on the movie, you know.
Blake was a producer. Justin was a director.
hmm
Justin was
but I
the
know that
director.
they
Yeah.
I know that it was like a lot of, you know, Blake's vision is this way and Justin's is this way, and they do it both ways and see, you know, like which was better, whatever. And I did notice that Justin's bio, the movie does not have a physical domestic abuse hotline at the end of it, which I read the book. It's very,
It's
you
the
know,
whole
this is a
theme.
very yeah. And as someone, you know, who has been in that relationship before, it can be very triggering to watch. And so
Yes.
I do wish that they maybe would have added that at the end. I thought it was weird that they didn't. But Justin's bio on Instagram is a like domestic abuse link and number, and Blake's is just like her brands.
Buy my hair care.
And I think Justin is leaning into the like, I wanted to make this about domestic abuse because that's what it is, and Blake is like, this is a movie and it's like lighthearted is kind of how I see it.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, even looking at the difference between their profiles and how they're promoting it, where I'm like, I read the book as well, and I'm like, DV is the biggest theme of the film. And I'm like, to promote as if it's the Barbie movie, it's very misleading, let alone not having any trigger warnings for survivors. If they don't know what's in the film, going to see that is very traumatizing, especially if you're thinking it's a lighthearted rom-com.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was a rom-com until like 10 minutes ago when Sierra was like, it's actually about abuse. That I was like, oh, like she's marketing it as like what you said, Barbie.
It's fashion, it's baking, it's me and Ryan
businesses.
Reynolds, but like
Do we know that this is what the feud is about?
speculation is that it's about the creative control and you know, he was the director, he's had the film since 2019. They stopped filming over COVID.
So yeah, I think Justin bought the rights to the script or something like that, and then now Blake is a producer. I think Blake and Ryan are producers. Justin is the director, and then the writer of the book,
Colleen Hoover.
I asked Justin to also star in it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone noticed, it's to Nelly's point, that like basically Blake and Colleen Hoover and the rest of the cast have unfollowed Justin,
And they're not
Mhm.
doing press together.
and they're not doing press with
Yeah.
Justin, and that's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a statement. That's basically like commenting on on your Instagram or someone else's Instagram. Like
Yeah.
you're putting out that's a public statement, isn't it not? Yeah.
1,000%. I
Definitely
mean,
is.
yeah, and it's actually kind of childish because it's like, you know, that it's going to cause attention to, I think, the wrong focus.
So like Justin's obviously saying and doing all the right things.
Well, Justin's
As
going on
he
interviews and
often
actually
does.
talking about domestic violence, being an advocate, asking the right questions and giving a voice and a platform to domestic violence survivors. Blake, on the other hand, is avoiding questions about that. And anytime she's asked a question about Justin, she makes it immediately about herself and Colleen, and, you know, doesn't really acknowledge that Justin Baldoni had anything to do with the film.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's definitely something going on there.
And
But
he says kind things about her.
yeah, no, I know Justin always says and does the right thing for
Mhm.
sure. But do we know that's what they're feuding about?
I don't think we know.
It's a lot of hearsay.
Yeah.
Like a
no
word
one
that's
knows anything.
a word that's been
this
thrown around
just,
is
like, the biggest
chauvinistic.
speculation.
By him.
by like these insiders and like people that are saying that they were on the set is like the word is chauvinistic that they've been using
About Justin.
and that there was like difference in creative approaches.
Well, that's what I'm. And so it's like obviously what Natalie and you are saying about like, and I'm like Justin. I was aware of the book. You know, Natalie read. I remember Natalie reading the books. I remember seeing that Justin and Blake got casted for it. You can't go to an airport without seeing Colleen Hoover books like all over, right? So like,
That's a good point.
it's like the #1 book on Book Talk, but I hadn't read it, and so like Justin, I didn't know really what it was about until like this weekend when this drama came out about. And so like the lack of awareness, that makes a lot of sense. Like, and so it makes sense why a lot of people, and it seems like a lot of the fans of this book are people who identify with Lily Bloom, is the main character,
Yes.
you know, especially if you've been through it. So I can see why they would be upset with how things are being marketed via Blake.
Yeah.
And so it seems like a lot of people are therefore taking Justin's side. But my question is do we know, again, like, I think we're all assuming that's what they're fighting over. Yeah. And do we know that to be true? Like,
No, we don't know. No one has spoken about the rift. This is all everyone's just,
reading between the lines.
Reading between the lines,
it's
seeing
reading between the lines and
Yeah.
speculating on what could possibly be the issue. And I think the biggest like red flag or whatever is that there is such a difference in marketing this movie where the focus of this movie, the storyline of this movie is this Lily Bloom who is in a relationship with this man who is abusive, and she stays with him and they have a kid together, and it's this whole story of their relationship. And the fact that it's not really being talked about as that is alarming. And I've seen like interviewers, for on red carpets being like, oh my God, it's hot. It's fun. There's hot guys. There's hot girls. It's this, it's that. And it's like, no, it's sad. It's triggering. It's heartbreaking. It's like, that's the reality of the movie, but it's not being portrayed as that. So,
no.
that all makes a lot of sense. And I think it's great that Justin is bringing awareness in ways that, for whatever reason, that Blake and other people aren't. I just wonder if that's what they're fighting about. Listen, if you're appreciative of the awareness Justin's bringing to that topic, that makes a lot of sense. But is there a world where he is not who he presents to be? And I think sometimes we live in a world where, like if someone does something kind for us in general, we obviously are drawn to them and we want to ride for them and we want to support them. And so Justin obviously is bringing awareness to anyone who feels triggered by this topic. And so I see why people are like siding with Justin and agreeing with Justin. But what if there was a world where Justin on set behaves in a way where it seems counterintuitive to the message he puts out there to the public? Is that possible? And I just, wonder, because I think Colleen and Blake and Jenny Slate, all of these people unfollowing Justin, like that's a statement they didn't have to make.
He still follows them too.
Sure. Justin is incredibly self-aware and incredibly intuitive to like how the public perceives him. And he is, I've never seen him not on message. He is definitely always on message. He always says the right things for sure.
I do think it's interesting that Colleen, the writer, the creator of this entire story, unfollowed him, because it's like, why did he not tell the story that you wrote? It's like, what's going on there? I see the Blake and him feud, but it's like, why is
the author?
Because you think if that is the issue, if it is like him wanting to lean more into the domestic violence and Blake wanting to lean more into like, it's a movie, let's make it a little bit lighthearted, it would be weird for the writer Colleen to not want anything to do with him.
Have you seen Justin Baldoni's his engagement video?
I looked it up a little bit, yeah.
It's like a thirst trap, right?
So if you haven't seen Justin Baldoni's engagement video, it's available online. It's 26 minutes long. Like, listen, everyone has a different proposal style. Like, it's certainly not meant for us. He did put it out to the public. I shared my engagement video to put out. I hope people enjoyed it. Certainly we opened ourselves up for criticism, but I'm assuming Justin's video, was really just for his fiance, and he put it out to the public to share. It's 26 minutes long. It has a really romantic opening. He takes his now wife out to the dinner where they had their first date. He sets the stage. She sits down in this booth. I'm assuming the same booth they had their first date. And then he proceeds to put on a 20-minute performance. Some of it seemed to be like pre-recorded.
Music videos.
Music videos, doing like recreations of like the Backstreet Boys. But like from the moment his then girlfriend found out that she was being proposed to, his proposal was about 20 minutes long of him performing. And I'm just, as for the ladies out there.
It wasn't anything that like had to do with them. From like maybe she like loves Backstreet Boys and she's obsessed with this music video, and so he was like, oh, I'll like act like I am one. Or maybe there was a lot of inside jokes that we just don't know. But yeah, to the public, it seemed like he was just doing skits and performances that like really had nothing to do with like proposing for her to watch.
I was made aware of this video by a friend yesterday because I was talking about the drama, and they're like, have you seen this video? This friend said my opinion had changed of him when I saw this video because I was like, well, you got to send me this proposal. But when you think about it, it's interesting that like it was. I mean, when I proposed to Natalie, it was just like for her. I mean, she told me the kind of how she wanted, like some beats of how she wanted to be proposed to, and I did the best to recreate that, because it was like, I don't know, but it felt like, I mean, yeah, the proposal was for us, I suppose, right? But it was like her moment, right? And like, from my point of view, I was going to propose to my fiance. And Justin's proposal to his fiance like included him perform. Like she had to wait 20 minutes, but nope. Hold on. 20 minutes later, I did. Like I didn't know. It just, to me, it comes across as someone who makes that proposal. It was about him. Yeah. It was a performance by him.
He was shirtless, and it was a thirst trap for like 60% of it. So it's giving like boudoir, not proposal.
And it's like
that's what I took from it.
And to me, that like just looking at that, not knowing anything about who they are. Like if it was just like, look at this proposal of this random person who did this for his fiance. To me, it would be like that looks like a person who likes to present that they are very focused on, because that took a lot of energy, and no one could knock his amount of effort that went into that.
There was a budget.
Boy, he did so much. He went out of his way for that proposal.
They are still together though.
Oh my God. Yeah. So this is just one person's opinion. And I assume that his now wife was obsessed with it, and that's all that really matters. But it seems like if I knew nothing, it would seem like he did that for him, for the reaction to he was the focus. The whole video was him, and it's just an interesting, I think, data point.
Yeah, I mean, I will say on the topic of the movie itself, like there was two versions of like screen test. One of them was Justin's version of it, and the second one was like Blake Lively's version. And the studio chose Blake Lively's version, although Justin Baldoni's version performed better.
And when we heard perform better, who we get the
audience? Yeah, it performed better with audiences.
That's like a leak from a source close to the situation.
They typically test films before they put them out to make sure that it registers with the audience. Or
No,
if they
I
need
know
to,
that,
edit.
but I'm saying in terms of that there was two.
There's two versions.
And then the scores, those were, where did we get that information?
Well, it's like the whole like insider thing.
It's all the insider. It's all the people, magazines, everything coming out about it. But it said that they did choose, like the final version is Blake's version.
And they're saying Blake says, I mean, that part might be the hearsay of it, but like the studio version isn't like Justin's original version.
Yeah, no, listen, it's fascinating because for all the things that Sierra and Natalie said, like Justin's the only one bringing awareness to this, and that matters. And I think,
and I'm also like money and star power also kind of have something. I feel like have a play in it as well. And like Blake and Ryan Reynolds, they're a power team. Why, if they both want to direct the sequel, it would make sense that the writer would side with it. She doesn't really have a say.
No, again, that's another like. I think opinion out there is like, I think a lot of people are attaching, it's just go, well, Blake and Ryan, they're the power couple. They have the influence. And so like Blake got her way. And I think a lot of people who, it sounds like a lot of the team Justins are basically saying that. And then the reason why they unfollowed, it's just like, well, they're all getting in line. No one wants to go against Blake, which that might be true. I mean, listen, like people, like it's Hollywood, At the same time, we don't know that to be true, right? That's just speculation.
Everything is speculation at this point. It's hard to like criticize what we don't know about people or why they do the things that they do. There might have been drama on set. There might have been just a struggle of power. Like I don't think either side is going to come out and say anything because Blake's already come out saying that the feud is not true, and then Justin only says nice things about his co-stars. So I'm like, it's almost like I feel like we're being gaslit a little bit. Like we're being told like nothing's going on, and it's like you guys are being very public.
Well, that part is with them unfollowing Justin. Like again, that's a public statement.
Yeah.
So for Blake to deny, it's kind of like, well, I mean, hey, at least answer the question.
And it's like Blake's on the red carpet with Ryan and Brandon Sklenar, the guy who plays Atlas, and Brandon's girlfriend, and they're doing all these photos together, this media together, and it's like, but Justin is another major role in this, so it is weird that they're kind of drawing that line, and like she's only doing press with Brandon and nothing with Justin. It's very obvious, and so I think the fact that no one is saying anything and acting like there's nothing wrong is a bit of like, come the fuck on, we're not that stupid.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, maybe they don't want to.
Could be the marketing.
It could be.
Yeah. That's where I'm like, is it the marketing? Like, is everybody in on the joke?
I'm like, the theory is kind of like the Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell.
Yeah, but that was totally different. They were leaning into the chemistry.
So in comparison, what they're saying is that Justin's character he does play the abuser, that they don't want to glorify it and make it so that it's like he's a star of the film, that they're like, I don't know, trying to create an air.
Leaning into the characters, essentially.
Yeah, that like he's not a likable person, so you're not rooting for him. I don't subscribe to that, but yeah.
Also, yeah, like Justin is an actor and he's playing this character who's not a good person. Like, again,
but it's also like when Zac Efron played Ted Bundy, he was, on doing the media tour and was quote unquote glorified for playing a murderer, but no one thought that was like.
He also didn't lean into like maybe people wonder, like his co-stars weren't treating him like he might be a serial killer.
He wasn't on the red carpet.
And also, like, why would that wouldn't be fair to Justin to like have him
scapegoat him.
That's way too into the weeds.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is a situation where people work together, didn't get along. It happens in every workplace. And like, I think the big thing is that it's a public statement to unfollow people, especially with it being who they are. For whatever reason, Blake doesn't want to acknowledge. Justin definitely has said nice things, but his quotes have been a little passive aggressive. Like that whole, like, I think Blake should do it. She's ready. Like in print, again, I didn't see the interview. I read the interview. It comes across as very like, I'm not going to say anything bad about Blake, but like, I have an opinion about Blake.
It definitely I watched the video of the interview. It definitely came off passive aggressive.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I just like, there is a world in which like they have their reasons, but sort of like short of Blake. I mean, what if he showed up? Like, what if the chauvinistic rumors are true and he showed up? And again, like Justin presents as like ally, always saying the right thing, shows up and then like, again, acts a little bit different. You wouldn't be the first guy who presents as an ultra ally but behind closed doors. And again, like, I have no information that he did that, but if that's the rumor, like, what if Blake and Jenny Slate and Colleen Hoover, like, what if they don't want to like say that? I mean, because that would be
That's also not the first time an actor has been like maybe a little two-faced, and that's like not cause for unfollow. Especially that seems petty for them to unfollow right before they go on. They release this movie because he was like not who he said.
Yeah.
He was a little two-faced. Like that seems.
I don't know.
It's all interesting. I'm going to go see it.
Yeah, it's performing. It's crushing at the box office. It's performing well. However people think about it, people are watching it. And it is fascinating.
I thought it was a rom-com, so I'm glad you cleared that up.
You're welcome. I
think a lot of people do, and I hope a lot of people before going into it who are victims of domestic violence know that that's what it is before they go into it, because that's it
will be triggering.
It will be, yeah, absolutely triggering.
There's a lot of decisions you have to make when you have a baby, and the one that I feel the most comfortable and safe making is using Huggies for our daughter River. I always tell Nick that when River's crying, she's trying to tell us something, and that's the case with most babies. They express it through cries, and so we've turned to Huggies. The new Huggies Skin Essentials are here. A brand new dermatologist-approved line of diapers, wipes, and pull-ups training pants that are all designed with baby's sensitive skin in mind.
Their wipes are so thick and pH balanced to help maintain healthy skin. Their wipes have 0 harsh ingredients for a great, gentle clean.
The Skin Essential Diapers features the Skin Protect Liner, which is what helps take care of the ick and stick that can cause rash. They have this liner built in their diapers.
The whole diaper helps protect against the top 2 causes of rash by managing moisture and running mess. The liner gives you the barrier to help absorb moisture and lock away runny mess from baby skin. Pull-Up Skin Essentials has your big kid covered too with a training pant that is ultra soft and breathable to help protect sensitive skin through potty training. Learn more at Huggies.com.
Once again, head to Huggies.com to learn more.
There's no better feeling than loving your home. Wayfair makes it easy to create a space where you can relax and unwind no matter the season. It's the place to shop for everything home. From your living room to your bedroom to your dining room, doesn't matter the room, Wayfair has it all. And your offices as well, because everything here at the Viall Files is brought to you by Wayfair. We Wayfaired it up here in our studio, so thank you, Wayfair.
I love Wayfair. I feel like the directions are very easy to follow. I have set up my entire at-home office using Wayfair. I have a desk, 2 chairs, and I did not need any help or assistance in able to create the furniture of my dreams.
Wayfair is the go-to destination for everything home, no matter your style or budget. There's a neighborhood in every zip code brought to life by everyone who makes their home truly their own with Wayfair. A huge selection of home goods ranging from appliances to area rugs to beds and wall art. Everything you need for your home, from living room to outdoor areas to bedrooms, bathrooms, and more. It's good to come home when you live in the neighborhood. Visit wayfair.com or download the Wayfair app. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. All right, well.
You know who is stirring drama online is Kaylor. She posted a video hinting that she's single. Basically, it was her before, like, at the clubs, dancing to the audio. If you're single, there's one thing you should always take with you when you go out on a Saturday night, your friends. And it was her, like, posing to the audio.
Dressed up and ready to go out.
I'm going to text her right now and ask if her and Aaron broke up.
Do it.
Well, and it was her bringing her friends.
Mhm.
So that's why to the audio, it's like, okay, so you're the single one is what you're saying.
This is on the nose.
Yeah.
She texted back immediately.
Quick response means there's no clarity needed. It is what it is. Like, she has an answer.
She definitely has an answer.
She has an answer. Well, we will find out during the reunion.
But public news. That's on the positive side.
Yeah.
Serena and Cordell and Janae and Kenny have made their relationships official.
And that I didn't realize this is a Love Island tradition.
Yeah. After the villa and things are working out, it's...
Who started this tradition? Because this can't be like a show tradition. I feel like this organically happened with like one of the original winning couples or couples that ended up together and they went online and like, we actually decided to make it official outside of the show. And then that became like a...
I couldn't name you the actual couple, but yes, from UK, that's a typical thing that like post-season, the couples that stay together, once they've been out of the villa for a minute, then they'll announce it's usually like rose petals and flowers and the whole thing and a big announcement saying that like we are an official couple. I think that's kind of cool that they're not like automatically being like, even though we are exclusive in the villa, that they're like, hey, we've gotten out in real life and I want to ask you to be my partner for real.
No, it's I like it. It's
Yeah.
it offers it a sense of realism. I guess again, seems to be a relationship that the fans have with its cast members. Like it's like as fandom builds, like, you know, when they write, there's a Star Wars movies, and then like now you have a million Star Wars books, and then it takes on a life of its own. And it seems like with Love Island, that's what's going on here. But it speaks to the relationship that the fans have with its show, which is we know it's a show. As opposed to, you know, The Bachelor, where it's sometimes you wonder for people watching if there's just like, you know, it's a show, right? You know, like they are making a TV show.
Mhm.
Like, you know, this is crazy, right? Like just the fact that people are willing to do this, like just the acknowledgement that it's like, holy shit, like give them a chance to get to know each other out in the real world, you
Yeah.
know, where like the relation, you know, where like some fans, it's just like, well, you know what you signed up for. It's the fucking Bachelor, you know, like fans will say that all the time. It's just like, well, I guess, sure.
You met 3 weeks ago. You're engaged. Why are you not
But
married?
they are allowed to not acknowledge that they've spent 8 hours together. I think some fans, you know, get that. But it's with this being an actual thing, I think it speaks to that relationship, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's like a reminder too that it's like there is reality TV that it's real people's lives. Like what you watched actually transferred into their real life. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this like moment in time. I did a show, I left with a couple, but like now we're over it. I'm like the idea that Miguel and Leah are still a thing, and it's like he's over in the UK and they're just like making it work. I don't know. I think it's really
Well,
cool.
didn't Kaylor and Aaron, they made it official inside of the villa, right?
Yes.
So it's like says a lot if they're possibly not together
showmance.
anymore. Yeah.
Or it's like
Well, that's a preemptive official then. That seems like outside of the rules.
Yeah.
Doesn't official mean the show you have to leave the bubble?
Does it?
Well, yeah. If I'm understanding this
Or some of them just
unofficial
personally
ceremony.
waited, like because they waited till after the show.
Yeah.
But like Aaron and Kaylor did it in the show.
No, but Sierra was saying how this is a thing,
Yeah, right. The culture
Yeah.
of it.
like the culture of the show, and it started when it's typically a thing when people leave the show
Mhm.
and they leave the show as a couple, and then as they immerse themselves into the real world, maybe some of them live here, maybe some of them there, some of them it's long distance, some of them, there's a lot of variables, and then couples have announced it's like, nope, we've assessed and we're going to actually try, as opposed to like, a lot of people, the Nicole and Kendall situation.
Right.
It seemed like Nicole assessed and has been like, I don't know, this is for me,
Right.
So like Kaylor and Aaron doing it in the villa it's void. It's null and void
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, no, you missed the whole point. Like you have to go, Kaylor had to go home, talk with her mom, and have her mom be like, this guy's an absolute fuck. And then Kaylor had to decide, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Aaron had to like leave the villa and decide, it's just like, oh, do I love Rob or do I love Kaylor?
Mhm.
Facts.
And then he had to decide like who he wanted to make a relationship work with. Rob or Kaylor.
Yeah.
He didn't know then. It's a little preemptive.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to see like how people fit into your real life. That's what I liked about like Love is Blind, how they make them live together, where I'm like, at least there's an element of reality that I'm
Inside
like,
of it, yeah.
what it's like off of a show to live with somebody or to work on a relationship. It's like you have to have that element of, okay, does this actually work in my real life with my day job, with what I do, with my family? Like, I don't know. I think it makes it real.
Well, happy for the happy couples. I'm
Yeah.
excited they're together. We got some Love Island people on next week. Some big interviews with some of the people you really want to hear from. A lot of your unanswered questions will be answered next week here in the Viall Files.
You know who I'm happy for?
Who?
Stassi Schroeder.
Yes.
This is her era.
Yeah, she's
She's
back.
back.
She's
Yeah.
back.
Does it say more about Stassi and her star power, or that Vanderpump Villa needed a boost?
Both.
I think but both of those things can be true at the same time. I'm like,
But
Stassi
which is more?
Stassi is a star, but I'm like Vanderpump Villa. It's funny because people that I talk to that have watched the show like rave about it. They actually really love it, but I feel like you've either seen it or you've never heard of it. So I'm like, for her to bring in Stassi season 2, I thought she would just be like a guest at the villa, but it seems like she's actually a full-time.
It seems like they're gonna put her like as like the general manager.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she'll be. Her and Lisa will have her powwows and they'll talk shit.
And it's kind of like her dream job. She like loves like European culture, like the whole thing. Or I'm just like,
The
how
prim and proper.
yeah, how fun for her
Yeah.
that it's just like,
It's a smart move.
and
by
you're like
them.
on boss level with Lisa.
And then it's promoting her now show that she's going to have as well, which is her the center of the cast.
Comedy docu series coming out on Hulu.
Half an hour.
Stassi,
Stassi.
she's got 2 shows that she
Oh.
announced.
Yeah, so she's joining the villa, and then
I
she's
didn't see
going to
that.
have a comedic half-hour docu-series. It's set to follow Schroeder as the anchor of a fresh ensemble of comedic and chaotic characters as they deal with identity crises and major life crossroads of their own. Stassi's the one who has to keep them all afloat.
Oh, so like
So she's
her
like,
own valley?
yeah, essentially, she's
she's-
like the Lisa of her own show.
Okay.
No.
Who else is on this?
We don't know yet.
That's all that's been announced thus far, but I am very excited.
It is interesting though that it's marking like a transition of Vanderpump into Hulu.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Where it's like we're like almost split down the middle with Peacock, and now it's moving over to Hulu because also Salt Lake City, Monica, whereas like Monica was like promoting Hulu's show with the
So we got
The
the
wives.
Mormon wives.
Yeah.
We got Vanderpump Villa and Stassi.
Stassi
That's gonna
show.
sound like they're really gonna try to compete with the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Although Stassi's show is only 30 minutes, so it's like a different format.
nevertheless,
it's just
Okay.
I think it's just like the networks, which is like a little confusing because like would I love for it to be on Peacock? Absolutely.
It makes me wonder if Lisa's like plotting her like escape to Hulu.
Well, Well, it's kind of like Kardashians. Kardashians left E and then went to Hulu.
Which is NBC. So yeah.
Oh, and because Hulu's ABC.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
Hulu is run by the same person who runs ABC Unscripted.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's Hulu, Disney, and ABC.
And then E is NBC.
NBC and
Yeah.
Peacock.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
Bravo, yeah. Like, do you think Lisa's going to Hulu and she's like, I need to poach all of my Vanderpump characters? And she's going to recreate her like sphere over there.
I don't know. I'm confused about
Well,
the whole thing.
I don't know. I mean, to me, well, is Lisa producing Stassi's show at all? I'm assuming.
We don't
would
we don't
assume
know
not.
yet. Yeah.
So assuming she's not, then
Yeah.
like Stassi's show has really nothing to do with Lisa.
Right.
So to me, that's Hulu trying to cross promote. You know, it's just like, well, let's kill two birds with one stone. We need to get like Vanderpump. You know, it's like especially if they believe they picked up Vanderpump Villas. So like, you know, there's a lot of shows that like, you know, just didn't catch on the first season, but they're good shows. You know,
Yeah.
and like they had like their dedicated following, but it just didn't pop for whatever reason. And then you have, you know, and then like it's like we have something here, but you just have to figure out a way to market it to get people to really jump aboard. And maybe that's bringing Stassi on, but it also that cross promotion. To me, this is less like Lisa has less to do with this decision than it being more of a Hulu decision. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't think Lisa's like, as much as they're working with her, I don't think all of a sudden like Lisa's a big power broker at Hulu now.
I think it's actually a smart move too, seeing how well like Vanderpump and all the Bravo shows going on Peacock, that it's a smart move on Hulu's being like, let's bring some of that over
like what
here.
if Raquel comes back but like Hulu? You know what I mean? Like I'm like, what if like the
I
extra
hope- well, I
characters
mean,
Vanderpump?
I
If
think we're-
Raquel comes back to Vanderpump, it's the end of Vanderpump.
there's got to be some
But like
limit
Hulu,
to,
like she like takes that avenue, you know?
yeah. But hey, listen, like I think the Mormon Wives Club or whatever, what's it called?
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Secret Lives of Mormon Lives.
I get confused. I always think it's secret.
I think that's gonna.
Secret Wives
I
of
think
Mormon
that's gonna be very fun and very good to watch. Stassi's version of the Valley. I mean, Stassi, star of Vanderpump.
Mhm.
You know,
She was supposed to be on the Valley, right? Originally.
No,
So that's the
no,
part
no.
that it's like
well, I think the Valley would have always welcomed her, but Stassi's been very clear, I think, from the beginning that she was never interested in the, you know,
Yeah.
as she said that she doesn't like fuck with those people, which
He was saying before COVID, they were originally going to make the next season of Vanderpump Rules. They were going to split it and do Valley Crew with
She was
Kristen,
part of the
Stassi,
the pitch,
Sheena,
yeah.
and then they were going to bring in new waiters for Sir to do a new season of Vanderpump Rules. And
who
then
said this?
this is just facts. This is like the
Yeah.
producer, but when 2020 happened and the cancellations of like Kristen and Stassi, the Valley got scrapped.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
this is-
so like
okay.
Stassi's gone on record saying this, that she was part of the actual show in the original pitch.
and that was before, but that was before Stassi.
But before
Okay.
2020,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Stassi was like,
Not shocking.
yeah.
So he's yeah.
Oh
So
my
he's-
God, Jax Taylor lied again. What?
Yeah.
I want to know what happened though to piss Brittany off enough to want to post it on her stories.
I would imagine Jax getting like, oh my gosh, he's getting help. We love Jax now. Look at Jax. He's so good. And Brittany's like, you know what? No, he's not. Look at him. He's still lying.
Yeah.
It's still a choice, though. I mean, it's still the father of her child, and like someday her child is gonna. It's a choice.
But it's also not like it's him saying, I'm donating this money to cancer and not doing it. It's not her saying, like, my baby daddy is, you know, I don't know what's worse than
All
that.
of the other things you could call him.
all of the other things she could say about Jax. It's like,
It's interesting because it's the same week that an insider came out saying that she's still in communication with Jax for their son. So it's
I
like,
mean, they're gonna have to.
They have
I
to.
mean,
but
Yeah.
like, it was interesting because there was this insider saying that she's prioritizing and taking care of like the son by keeping the communication, and then the same week she posts online like destroying him.
this is the biggest challenge for me as like someone who's commentating on their choices
Mhm.
online and the
Mhm.
perception of them, and knowing that they're filming right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and it's just like, how do you? Are we all just kind of being foolish? Are we all just responding and talking about the messiness that is the Valley, and like this is like the answer to all of our questions is
They're
they're
filming.
filming.
We're indirectly promoting the show.
You know,
Yeah.
You're welcome, Peacock.
Congrats.
Just kidding.
but okay. But either way, I mean,
It's just to Natalie's point. Oh, Jax did something.
Yeah.
Lied again. Okay.
okay, yeah, he's a horrible human.
I can't imagine if Jax was on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Like, would he be a Sam M? Or is he further gone than Sam M?
Further gone. He's giving like Chad, Luke, all of the bad guys.
I want to see Jax go up against Vicky Gunvalson. Like, who would win in that fight is what I want to know.
Vicky.
Vicky would 100% win.
Jax would just try to sleep with her.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh no, he actually wouldn't even try. He would just say he did. He would just make up a
Listen,
lie.
I am sick and tired of like this. Shannon is this terrible person, and
Agreed.
she like. I do think. I don't know, Shannon. I don't know if she has a drinking problem or not. I do know that if you are willing to drink and then get behind the wheel, that is a problem in itself.
Mhm.
It does seem like she has acknowledged her mistake, and she's like, I will never, ever, ever do that again. She does seem like she is, I am a 2-drink maximum kind of girl, and sometimes I don't even drink. Whatever her journey is to that, I support it as long as she's not hurting anyone else or hurting herself. I think Tamara throwing these stones at Shannon is like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I think Tamara is like the messiest drunk,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like comical that Tamara has something to say about someone else's behavior while drinking.
Yes.
And that's my opinion.
And I will also say that watching from like previous seasons, like Shannon is all about the drama, brings the drama. This is the chillest and like I think the most self-aware I've seen Shannon in a season, where I'm like, she acknowledges that what she did was messed up, but I'm like, at the same time, what do you want from her? And it's not for anybody else to tell somebody that they have a problem. They have to come to that conclusion on their own.
That's why I agreed with Emily, where she was like, well, Tamara, like, I don't think you get to decide. Like, she's trying on her own. We've seen her try. Like, you can't keep throwing those stones.
And you're not even in communication with her. So how are you able to judge what you think is
Exactly.
going on? You don't know what steps she's taking to heal or to correct her wrongs.
Other than a lot of highlights, most of the Shannon I've gotten to watch is these past 2 seasons, specifically mostly this season.
Mhm.
So like I don't have as much comparison as a lot of other people do.
Yeah.
But when I watch Shannon this season, she looks almost afraid,
Mhm.
like broken, like down bad a little bit, like she's going through it, and she seems like she is trying. At least we all try to do better and sometimes fail, but like yeah, I have so much empathy for Shannon when I watch her. She seems like she really is like a lot more timid and afraid to like, yeah, I have a ton of empathy for her. She seems like she's truly going through it and trying to like, to get through it and make healthier choices.
Yeah.
And yet she is being pulled back in for the sake of the drama.
You have a point, because like talking about flashbacks, like her, Tamara, and Vicky were the Tres Amigos, and the point of it was they drink and like become crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was the thing. But like she's the one that's now like sober or trying to be sober. And then Tamara's calling her the alcoholic, but Tamara's the one that still drinks.
Well, Tamara's the one that drinks and then flies off the handle and then blames it
so
on the
it's like-
tequila.
So it's ironic.
I know a lot of heavy drinkers that like to call other people alcoholics.
Yeah.
So
What is it? Like him without sin, cast the first stone?
Watching Alexis is like, it's hurting my eyes.
Oh
She
my
is
God.
just so terrible. And I think, like, imagine dating someone for how long did Shannon and John date for?
I want to say 2 years now.
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Imagine dating someone for 3.5 years, and then when they break up, they're in a whole new relationship. And this relationship, she's already been like, look at the ring he bought me. Look at this. And then he's like, you know what? I think I spent a little too much money on my ex, so I'm gonna sue her and make her pay me all of that money back. It's like, she didn't hold you at gunpoint and like tell you to pay for her facelift. And like, you chose to do that. And if it's not in writing somewhere being like, this is a loan, I owe you $75,000, you can't come around a year later and want that money back.
It's like to Tamara's point when she was like, okay, if an engagement felt like you give back the engagement ring, she can't give her face back. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, unfortunately, anyone can sue anyone for anything. And unfortunately, people with more power and more money specifically can just sue people because they have the access to do it, because it's costly to litigate. So yeah, it's fucked up. It seems like a really abuse of the legal system.
And also, I think Alexis using John and Shannon as her storyline is pitiful.
Wrap it up.
Like, I brought the receipts. It's like, this has nothing to do with you. Like,
Before
what?
you were
the
a
only
part of it.
reason he's asking her for this money is so that he can buy you more shit because he's spending too much.
There's the door, Alexis.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
really feel for Shannon. I feel like we're watching the psychological torture of Shannon
Yeah.
on this season. or whether it's organically happening just because Alexis, who has been part of this group of women, is dating the, Shannon's ex, and this guy who we, isn't even on the show but often talked about, seems like a horrible person.
Mm-hmm.
I will say too, like seeing Shannon like walk out of the room and then start crying but not leave says a lot to me, because usually you see housewives when they are the ones like on the aggressive side, they leave and storm out and like throw things. But Shannon actually walked out and was crying but didn't leave. Which shows like she is in like the defensive, like hurtful position.
Yeah, and I also think that she like didn't leave because she came with Vicky, and then I think Vicky was like, "Nah, I got a couple things to say," like left, and then she left. But like, yeah, no, it was actually quite sad, and it's never fun watching all like everybody gang up on one person, and it's like she's already down bad. Like you're not helping the situation by yelling at her or like.
Yeah, that's my question too, because it's like. When Shannon went out there, she told Jenn, she was like, I'm hurt that nobody came out to see me. But it's like Jenn was like, people are defending you. So Shannon was like, I'm hurt that nobody came out to defend me or like to talk to me. But Jenn was like, well, there's a lot of people saying things. So it's like, in that position, if you're the friend in the room, do you leave the room or do you stay to defend your friend?
Oof. I mean, that's a tough one. It
like,
depends.
Are you going to support Shannon? Or are you there to be like, no, stop
if I have
talking
something
bad?
to say, I stay and defend.
Yeah.
Which was Vicky was doing that.
That's kind of how I feel too. That it's like, okay, if you want to come for her, she doesn't have to be here, but I'm ready to lawyer up and have this fight with you.
Yeah. But if it's like, this is stupid and I just want to be there for my friend and like, then I go support my friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Shout out to Terry DeBro. Dr. Terry DeBro.
I had a feeling you were going to like his little commentary at the table.
Oh, it was so great. And he was like, I love to be shot by the paparazzi. If there is a person out there who I can call, please give me that number. And I was just like, Terry, my guy.
He needs to reach out to Katie and ask for that number.
No, it's just like, it's just stupid. It's beneath them, like.
You're public figures again. Like you all like getting your photo taken or being relevant, or else you wouldn't cause the drama that you cause, hoping that it doesn't come up or that it ends up on headlines and we're talking about it, That's why I'm like, it's so funny that they act like they're like, oh God, we're all so private. I can't believe you would call the paparazzi. And I'm like, really? Because you're screaming in the middle of a restaurant.
Again, I've said this in past episodes. Like, unfortunately, I haven't. I think Natalie told me at the lake that apparently the Daily Mail printed something about me going to Whole Foods. And I'm like, how did I look? She's like, bad.
Oh, no.
And if you don't get a heads up, they will. They are all over LA. And if they see you, they'll follow you, and like often that you don't see them, and you look fucking terrible always, because it's always a shot of like, I don't know, you just having you
went out to grab a quick thing, still in the gym shorts,
just an unpleasant resting gaze.
The dogs are out.
Me, stuffing a sandwich down my face. So yeah, for all the people who get ahead of it and work with someone who's like, yeah, listen, can we just make sure we get a good picture, because this is going to be everywhere. Good for Terry DeBro.
Yeah.
It was a switch up though to see Gina be like not defend Katie.
I'm a big fan of Gina this season. Some of her moves are a little confusing to me, but I was like, I feel like she's been a very good friend and very understanding with Shannon, who she did not get along with, I think, last season. She's making moves for her family, for her kids. And I'm also kind of like, I like the fact that she said to Katie, like, dude, if you're not going to tell Heather because you're running around telling everyone else what's going on, then I will tell her. And then Katie's like spinning it this episode being like, you weren't defending me or you didn't have my back. And it's like, no, she actually did. She said, I'm not going to throw you under the bus, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to say what you've said to everyone but Heather. And I think that that's correct.
And again, she keeps referring to this screenshot of this text of basically someone saying yes, which that's called hearsay. And it's just called rumors. Maybe it's true, but it's definitely not proof. It is proof that
Proof would be her texting the paparazzi, hey, I'm going to be at Disneyland at 10 p.m.
Showing the screenshot that was sent to the paparazzi.
And even then, we don't even know. You can fake that pretty easily. Yeah. So like that's not even proof. But that's more than like just having someone say yes.
Or you're going to have to go full like Teresa Giudice and be like, here's my lawyer. Like, here's the paparazzi coming to sit down and tell you all that he took the photo because
she was wrong.
Asked.
She was wrong in the long run anyways.
Yeah, like it's just, and again, why is this your storyline, Katie?
I think I agree with you on Gina. Is that like, I don't always agree with Gina's choices.
Yeah.
But Gina has character.
Yeah.
Gina has a genuine attempt to do the right thing and a genuine attempt to be the good friend and to be the good partner. We, as everyone else, she gets it wrong. We all get it wrong sometimes. Sometimes we don't make the choices that are that are right for us,
Yeah.
even though we intend to. Where other people, I don't actually think they care about doing the right thing. I think they care about being right or validated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I feel like Gina, she's a good person.
She
You can
is.
just kind of she just sometimes will say and do things that I don't quite understand.
Right.
Like I don't get her breakup. I don't get what she's doing here. It's like she wants him to move out and then he's going to babysit. Speaking of babysitting, you can't live here. I don't want your kids here. I want my independence, but hey, I got this thing to go do. Can you watch my kids for a while?
I don't think she gets it either. I don't think she gets it either. I think she's like, I'm figuring this out as I go. Like, I don't really have as much money as I used to have. Like, where am I going?
Well, and I also just saw this past weekend, they were in Vegas with her 2 daughters, but Travis was with her. So I'm like, they're very much still making whatever this modern situation work out for them because they're still in a relationship.
There's still love there. They still like each other. They clearly are triggering each other. There's some abandonment issues going on. Again, don't get her choices often. Yeah. It's always like, Gina, what the fuck? I don't understand. Like, what are you doing? But she's a good person.
Yeah, when it comes to like standing up for other people and doing the right thing and standing to your guns, I think that she sticks to her guns a lot of the times. Yeah.
I feel like she's the type of friend, and I have a few of these friends where it's like they're a bit gossipy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could trust them with information. I couldn't, but it wasn't ill-intentioned. It was like I knew they just had a loose mouth, and I had to like lock them up, and kind of like be like, "What the? Come on," And then they were really like I could tell that they were really sorry. And then going forward, maybe they just weren't the person I would trust with like secret information. Not because again I can't trust them, but they can't help themselves. Yeah. It's like you kind of know what to expect. But I really, they're good friends. They're good people. I care about them. Mm-hmm. They just, sometimes you just don't understand why they do what they do. And that just feels like Gina.
Yeah.
I mean, Katie has no storyline now. Like Gina's
there was real fear in Katie's eyes last week when Katie and Heather was like, well, maybe you're not someone I'm interested in getting to know now.
Humbled.
And Katie was just like, I just wanted to start a fight.
Because all she wanted was to be loved by Heather. Like she was mad that Heather wasn't acknowledging her.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, even the whole like now flipping the situation onto Gina being like, you didn't have my back. And it's like, she told you from the get-go, don't bring this up. Stop doing this. And then you still did it. And then you're sitting here now not taking responsibility for you for some reason being obsessed with Heather. And now you're being like, Gina threw me under the bus. So now we're mad at Gina. And it's like, no. Gina owes you nothing, and she gave you really sound advice. Everybody has told you, don't mess with Heather. And what have you done? Continuously messed with Heather. Sutton came on for one scene and told you, don't mess with Heather. It's as simple as that.
Go, Heather. Terry. Yeah. Thank you, Terry.
Question. Emily and Shane, married 15 years, celebrating their anniversary. She's concerned, obviously, about his health and everything. She's gym obsessed. Do you think that you are obligated to go to the gym with your partner if your partner brings up a concern?
Obligated? No.
Do you think you should take it into consideration?
Who's saying what?
Emily's the one that is working out and she's fit, but she wants Shane to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those, in theory, sure, in practice, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
In theory, I think you should be able to be in a relationship with both people are supportive. It can be like, hey, babe, and it could be health concerns for eating the right way, or could be health concerns for making sure you're active and things like that. But in practice, you really got to make sure you have your delivery down. And even then, you might be talking to someone who isn't going to receive it well at all. Yeah. And especially, I think in general, I think as men, it's, we have to be even more careful about how we say things, because I think sometimes we can be incredibly tone deaf and insensitive and a little too direct for our own sake. And it's like, there's just a lot of potential landmines,
Tread lightly.
So, I think sometimes I would just rather shut the fuck up and just hope,
hope for the best.
Hope for the best, and but I think it's a challenge. Yeah, especially I think the biggest challenge is when you do the work, because I think it's like if you are an active person, hopefully your partner picks up that like maybe the motivation is seeing your partner really invest in their overall health. Mm-hmm. But it depends on how connected you are in a relationship. You see married couples all the time, like kind of independently do their thing separately. She's finding joy in this new kind of routine that she has, and maybe getting a lot of motivation and maybe a lot of self-confidence. And he's just like, isn't, you know? And like, if you're not a couple that often does things together, then that leading by example won't really work out. you know. But yeah, I don't listen. I think in theory, it's great if you have a relationship where you can do that in practice. Good luck.
Good
You know?
luck.
Get a family pass to the gym.
You know, so like, how are you going to repeat? It's always like the question is, how does it get repeated to their friends?
Like, what is the partner saying to their friends about what you said?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it is often
Do you know what they said to me? No,
how
kidding.
things are repeated again, how they're received, not how they're said.
Yeah, that is so
Oh, wow.
true.
You know, just like how people read text, they read it in their feelings. You
Mhm.
know, and so
Wow, that was very astute. I love that.
yeah, well, you learn. You know. Hey, pet lovers out there, if you are a pet parent like me, you got to know about Chewy. When they say they have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy, well, they are not messing around. Well, to keep them happy, Chewy has over 100,000 products from all the brands our pets, Jeff and Steve, love at the prices we love even more. Food, treats, beds, you name it, they have it, and it gets shipped directly to your door in 1 to 2 days, and not just for dogs and cats, birds, fish, reptiles, and more. To keep them healthy, Chewy offers pet prescriptions, pet insurance, telehealth vet visits, and even rolling out vet clinics across the country.
And can I just say, Chewy's auto ship feature is something that I think any pet lover should have. They have more options not only on the website than most pet stores in person, but they have it so you can schedule out when you want your food, your litter. You can schedule out when you need any of your pet supplies to come, and it will come without you forgetting. So you don't have to worry about, oh, I forgot to go to the store, or have your pet look at you with side eyes.
Speaking of not worrying, Chewy has top-tier 24/7 customer service. I can get expert advice over chat or phone day or night. Plus, if my pet or I don't love something, Chewy's 100% satisfaction guarantee lets me return it within a year. No questions asked.
Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy, and right now you can save $20 off your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/VIALL. That is chewy.com/VIALL to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. Chewy.com/VIALL. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details. Hey, all you parents out there, you got to get the Dreamland baby sleep sack. River has been dreaming and sleeping in that Dreamland baby sleep sack since she's been with us. She's upgraded to a larger size because she's growing. The Dreamland baby sleep sack is an incredible for all you parents out there. It's that cozy, slightly weighted sleep sack for your baby. If nothing else, as Nellie and I have said, it helps River get into her routine. You know, when she puts it on, she knows she's ready for bed. She sleeps very well in it. River has always been a good little sleeper, and she's always been sleeping in the Dreamland weighted sleep sack. We don't leave home without it. It truly is our go-to. It's like, it has been such a help for us as parents. It's really helped with that routine with River. We can't stress it enough. It's easy to use. It's got a two-way zipper, so I often, if you have to change in the middle of the night, no problem. We just keep the sleep sack on. The only reason we had to get a new Dreamland baby sleep sack is because she grew, but it's very durable. It really keeps its condition, especially for us using it literally every day or every night. 100% soft, all natural cotton. We can't say enough great things about it, and you need to get it if you have a young little baby as well, especially if you're struggling in the sleep department. Go to dreamlandbabyco.com and enter our code VIALL at checkout to receive 20% off site-wide, plus free shipping. This offer is for new and existing customers. Again, that's dreamlandbabyco.com and enter our code VIALL. Jersey, I don't know. Did we get anything from that final episode?
I thought it was just strange.
Technically, we did. Like, Jen Fessler is now friends again with Danielle and Rachel Fuda.
Okay.
And she's not speaking to Teresa or Jennifer, which is okay,
Sure.
whatever, that's small. But like beyond that, it was like there was no point.
It was a reunion where they dressed up once again. They got into two different groups that who's talking to who, and then they rewatched the season and gave some commentary.
They didn't even get dressed up. Like Danielle was the only one that kind of looked like a reunion look, and then everybody was just like there for
And
lunch.
Dolores.
Yeah.
And Dolores, yeah.
Yeah.
But Rachel's pregnant.
Rachel's pregnant, yeah.
Congratulations, Rachel. We're
Rachel
happy
is
for
the
you.
youngest housewife ever, so she's staying around, I think.
I think Teresa might be the best TV, and if you're going to bring it back, there's several reasons why Teresa is one of the most iconic housewives. But like in practice, in life, I'm almost certain I would be Team Melissa.
Yep. Same.
Yeah.
Teresa seems so petty. Just like that commentary by Louis about Dolores' kid.
Yeah.
And she finally was like, she even knew. She's like, oh, I'll make sure he apologizes. But like, she's never wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Teresa's never wrong in Teresa's mind.
It was interesting to see that at the end of this reunion special, everybody was like, this is the end of it.
Mhm.
Like, so they're all saying that, but I'm like, you guys are all assuming that you're making the cut. But I'm like, I don't know if any of you guys are making the cut.
At this point, no. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what I sat and watched. It was
Andy seems so done with him.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like it seems like Andy truly just wants to move on from this entire cast. Like it sounds like they've just been giant.
Part of
pains
me
in the
did
asses.
wonder if the reunion didn't happen because Andy was like, I don't want to even be here.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have to sit down and have 1 hour of a lunch on your own. Like, not even a lunch, a charcuterie. Like, he's like, I'm not going to fly here just to like watch you guys.
Yeah, like Andy could have
true.
showed up. He could have gone back
Yeah.
and forth between the 2 rooms. He was just like, I don't fucking
Not even
shit.
worth it,
Like, it's
yeah.
not even worth my time.
How many episodes was this season? Like 9 or 10?
It was
No,
13
yeah.
It
plus
was
the
so-
special. So 14.
Mm,
So
yeah.
short. Yeah.
All right, Bachelorette. Oh, well, they took a week off last week, but this week was incredibly entertaining. It was a really great episode for Jenn. I thought she really shined this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, mostly around hers, like how she handled the whole Sam Men
Oh
situation.
my God. Yeah.
Oof. That was rough.
Talk about not self-aware or like bad in interviews, period.
Also, talk
Like-
about a word salad. Like saying so much but saying nothing at all. Like
Did-
listening to Sam M talk in that radio interview, I was just like, oh, honey, shut your mouth.
At any point, did you start feeling bad for him or no?
Not in a way of like pity or
Right.
like it was just more so like, man, I would hate to be you in this situation right now.
I feel bad, like, oh, you could have said something better, but you're saying the wrong thing.
Yeah, what he said about the whole like I didn't know you're not my type. I wanted Maria or Daisy, and it was just like, honey, you did not have to say that.
And he's like, you're stunning, but like looks fade. Like he was.
No, I mean, it was the craziest thing.
He's
And
roasting
before
her.
everyone's just like, oh, of course, next time. It's just more like, I think he's not, I think, yeah, maybe I don't. He's not,
he's not very bright.
Yes.
Yes.
It just seems like there are other people who are just as full of shit. Because to be clear, I think Sam was revealed, right?
Mhm.
Sam clearly got called out for not being there for Jenn.
Mhm.
And listen, that's fine. We all know that like most of these people, men and women who show up for the show, don't know who the lead is.
Mhm.
That's not a crime to be like, everyone thought it was Maria or Daisy. The fact, like, you literally never tell a woman, I've learned this, I've had to learn this in my years, never tell a woman that she's not your type. Never.
No, yeah.
Doesn't matter. And that's, if you're dating outside your type, good for you.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up. You know, you don't need to bring it up. You don't need to like make that person feel like you're dating them for their personality and not their. It's just it never lands.
Yes.
They'll find that out on their own.
Yeah.
They'll see your exes and be like, okay, I was
exactly.
not their
They'll
type.
know-
Yeah, you don't need to
they'll
tell them.
figure it out. You don't need to say it. But I guess it's just like, so Sam was revealed as clearly, he wouldn't be the first person who didn't realize that was the lead.
Mhm.
But like he was revealed as someone who really didn't like make it about Jenn, who had he couldn't say one thing he learned. One. And I guess what I'm saying, it's just like there are other people out there who are just smarter and craftier, who are highly intelligent people, men, and for the men out there who like he would know what to say
Mhm.
because they just know how to talk and they know how to be articulate and they know how to be smooth and charming. Where Sam clearly, I'm shocked to find out he actually was in a serious relationship because he comes across as a guy who's never known anyone for more than 24 hours after he takes them home.
Agreed.
All he had to do was remember anything she said on their one-on-one. I mean, I
Just
feel like
one.
their
Anything.
one-on-one was the only time Jenn has ever opened up about her past and her trauma and what she's been through. And he obviously was like completely checked out that entire time because she's like, what did you learn about me on our one-on-one? And he's like, I love you.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because that gave me flashbacks too of Aaron in Love Island, where I was just like, what is this like? Oh, you're getting in trouble and now you're just going to throw a Hail Mary, I love you, and hope that this ends the conversation? What is this move?
See, now this is actually, you could argue this is love bombing.
It is love bombing.
No.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know what to say to you. I don't even know anything about you, but I'm in love with you. Oh, okay.
Well,
Guess I'm done being concerned.
I do think there's and there's a huge difference with other, like, for who is the other Sam.
Uh-huh.
I don't think
Sam
that's
N,
I don't
yeah.
think that's love bombing at all. I think that as a man who is very emotionally unintelligent, again, love bombing to do it, for it to be love bombing, despite what the internet says, you're saying the I love you to get something in return.
Mm-hmm.
It is an exchange. This person wants to hear I love you, and if I say I love you to them, they will submit to my request. You're invoking some kind of power.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the same as someone who feels something inside, some emotions. They're emotionally immature. They don't know what it is. They're confused by, is this lust? Is infatuation? Am I losing my mind? Whatever. Is it fear? Is it love? And they go with I love you because they don't know how to articulate it. And then 3 weeks go by and they feel something different because they got it wrong, because they're in an environment where it is structured to make people kind of second guess themselves, lose their support system. Sam out in the outside world, the other Sam, Sam N.
The love virgin.
He would have a support system, and maybe he would say, hey, mom, dad, best friend, sister, brother, I'm feeling these feelings. What do you think? And then one of those people could be like, well, maybe not. He doesn't have that, right? He has people actually in his corner saying, well, I'm guessing that's love. You know what I'm saying? He's being encouraged to go there. He's being encouraged to connect with his feelings. Sam M sounds like a guy who, is very comfortable being around women, who knows how to, make out, certainly, and things like that, who clearly doesn't seem like he is actually feeling these feelings, but he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay on the show. He feels foolish. And the thing he wants from Jenn is to not send him home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the love bombing comes into play, that he is saying it to get something in return. And that is her buying into his bullshit, where Sam N, I believe that he believes those feelings you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where Sam M doesn't feel like he has any intense feelings whatsoever. He just feels like he doesn't want to be wrong about winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think he was in his head, he's like, I'm the bachelor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say whatever and present this way so that people think that I'm the one that's mature. Because then he said something to her. He said, I didn't know if you would be able to show the love the way that I knew how to. So he was belittling her in a way of I'm the one that actually knows how to express my love.
Mm-hmm.
So it's girl, it's the other way
The only
around.
thing Sam M heard Jenn say this entire time was ferocious love. That's the only thing he heard. And that's the only thing that resonated with him. And Sam M speaks in movie quotes. He speaks in he's like, I want you every day, you and me. The Notebook, that is him. That is what he thinks he has to say to get what he wants, and it's the most mind-boggling conversation to listen to.
We have his speech.
Jenn said, how was your first impression of me and how has this changed over time? And he responded saying, it's a testament to the process. I told you, I almost didn't even come here and I thought no. And then I got out of the limo and I said, this girl is not my type. This is that whole idea of the unknown right there. I thought the Bachelorette was going to be Daisy Maria. Obviously, you're stunning. There's no doubt about that. But I know that fades. But I think I trust the process. I truly feel like I'm meant to be here. My dream is to be a father, a husband. My parents have been together for 30 plus years. And then Jenn said, but I think everyone wants a love that's lasting and real. But what is it about me that makes you feel like we could have a very great future together? He's speaking in broken English.
He's also saying absolutely fucking nothing.
And a lot of eyes. So she says, besides the fact that we both want this ferocious love, what is there about me? And he says, truly your selflessness. I consider myself a very selfless person as well. And she said, how do you know that I'm selfless? And he said, I mean, you're either selfless or you're full of shit. One or the other. At the end of the day, I'm someone who's trusting this process. I told you that. I don't think someone who is full of shit would come in and see 25 guys and be like, okay, that's what I want, and just say those words out loud. Also, this is how I know you're selfless. Actually, after night one, that connection that we had was hot. And truly, I feel like you've kept me in the closet. I cannot express to you enough how serious I am about the situation here. And she said, do you feel like you really know me? And he said, honestly, I told you from early that my love language is physical touch. It's like this, it's like, and then he grabs Jenn's face and forces a kiss with her in front of everybody while they're gagged and jaw drop. And what do we think about that?
That was aggressive.
This is how I know you're selfless, because when I got out of that limo, we had a connection and it was hot. What?
And forces a kiss. The kiss is what cringed me.
The kiss, but it's also the truly your selflessness. I consider myself a very selfless person as well. It's again, she's asking you, how do I make you feel this way? And he always is like, well, and yeah, he is talking like he's the bachelor because he's like, I trust the process. Honey, you're part of the process, but you don't need to trust the process.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing was the last thing he said. You saw the best in me that I couldn't even see it.
His movie line.
You saw the best in me when even I couldn't see it. It's like,
we don't think you've been struggling with your self-confidence, Sam M.
Like he's keeping the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, just keeping the main thing the main thing.
He is.
The main thing
even
is
on
him.
his exit, he was keeping the main thing. The main thing. It's, when I watch these like moments like these, they have a lot of power in the edit room.
Yes.
Right. So when I watch these things and they sound like broken English, I know that could be made possible
By
if they
chopping things up.
if they wanted to.
Okay.
But like that's not always the case. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you watch for little clues, like obviously we had the pleasure of talking to Jenn last week about Sam, and she was very clear that she doesn't think he's being misrepresented at all. You can only do it like they have a lot of control in moments, but like if you really want to screw someone over, they have to give you something, and they have to consistently give you the same thing for you to like set a kind of a character arc, I think, to a certain degree. Even his exit, like he said, he just douchey thing after douchey thing. I forgot what he said in the limo or the SUV or whatever, but it was like he was just like, oh, he called her dull. He called her dull.
She's a little dull.
If he would have gotten that car after all the bullshit and all the crazy things we saw, right? And if he would have said something like, you know, Jenn's a great person, she's gonna find her love, I guess, and humbled himself and just said something like that, he could leave the door open for people to be like, I don't know, he got fucked in the edit or something like that.
Right.
But the fact that like just every step of the way, he just continued to say and do douchey things, even just in front of the guys. I mean, you saw all the guys, regardless of what we saw from an edit standpoint, we saw all the men kind of validate what we were seeing.
Yeah.
Right. So whether we saw the entire 30-minute conversation or 3 minutes of that conversation, it seems like they like are accurately got the tone.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that Sam M's story was a guy who just got out of a relationship and there was like another guy involved, and he seemed like he really got down bad by his ex. And to watch Sam this season, you can't help but like whatever happened between him and his ex-girlfriend, not want to take her side. Things can't go more poorly for you on a show when you're watching it and you're just like, you have a very tragic story that makes anyone want to go, wow, it's like, yeah, that sucks, man, to go through that. And then immediately watch on the show and go, I don't know, I bet she had her reasons. Every step of the way, he was horrific. I mean, just aggressive physically, just grabbing her head and making out.
When he said what is one word to describe fantasy suites? Aggressive. That's scary.
Yep.
What is aggressive about fantasy suites? What are you doing in there that's so aggressive?
See, that's something where it's just like, I actually, when he said that, thought he meant like that's an aggressive question.
That's the man who's like been jumping her from the start thinks
That's
the question
true.
about fantasy
No, I
suites
know.
is
No.
aggressive.
I'm saying that's how I took it at first, but then the more he said, it was like, no, maybe that's what he meant.
He talks with this weird power dynamic, like where he belittles Jenn while talking to her, but then that's where I think he thought he was going to be the Bachelor. So then he was like talking in a way of like, I will be the one next that has the power, or I don't know.
Did you notice a thing he was doing when he thought he was getting called out and he would make this kind of noise?
Yeah.
What was that?
It was
it just like a...
I think he was nervous.
It's like it's a nervous tick,
Yeah.
probably because he's lying. But like, did you ever watch The Jinx or like anything with like a serial killer that they always have these like tells when they're
He's
lying?
not a serial killer.
I'm not saying he's
It's
a serial.
like,
I'm just saying when people
when
like
you look to the left, that's like a sign
they
of
have
lying.
like subconscious ticks when they're uncomfortable or whatnot. So it's like his whole thing was like, fuck, I'm lying right now. I don't believe anything that I'm saying. It's almost like he couldn't get the words out because it was such BS.
Yeah.
Clearing?
I mean, he knew he was screwed. Like when Jenn walked in, I mean, it was kind of like Jenn like kicked. I love how Jenn knocked and just kicked open the door. Like, what if he's going to the bathroom?
That's what I thought. What if he's like mid-changing or like
I mean,
alone?
clearly she knew. Just so you know, like even though there's cameras in there, he was definitely caught off guard. Sometimes like you walk into a room and it's just like, oh my God, you're here. And there's like cameras waiting for them. And it's just like, okay, they knew. Before every rose ceremony, they'll take, all the guys in little B-roll. And so B-roll, for those of you who don't know, and we've talked about it before, are just like you're staring into the moonlight and you're contemplating. And so they'll use those shots when you're sitting in a chair as those voiceovers, and they'll combine them or whatever. Or just the shots of when Jen's talking about all the men and they show the men getting ready for the night and they're dressed up. So like every rose ceremony, they do B-roll, they do these contemplation shots, they look in the mirror and they get ready and they like, fix their watches. And so, then most of it you don't see and they're not used. So that's what Sam's doing in that moment when Jenn walks in. He's just filming B-roll, which he's done like for every rose ceremony leading up to that, and all the guys do that night. So like the cameras being there and him being mic'd and things like that, he was still completely caught off guard. He wouldn't have been tipped off that something's going on.
Right.
I did look it up. Increased drinking or swallowing along with frequent clearing of the throat are potential indicators that a person is lying.
Thank you.
And if he wasn't prepared, then he didn't have a time to make the script.
Yeah.
So then she came in and he was like, lie.
Can't even think of my favorite movie line right now. Like,
See, I think it's less about lying and more about him being full of shit. I think there is a difference.
He kind of outed himself even in that interview when he did say that. He was like, either that or you're full of shit, because I'm like, no, that's you, sir, because you only see two options, that it's either you're selfless or you're full of shit. And I think you are full of shit.
No, he's totally full of shit.
Yeah.
I don't think he realizes how full of shit he is.
No. And I think that's a fair thing to say as well. I don't think that he's like some sort of like evil genius that came on here to like mess with Jenn and never like, he came on here to be on TV, see what happens, whatever and whatnot. I don't think it was some sort of like elaborate plan to be an evil genius, but I do think that he's not very bright. I think that he was never really that attracted to Jenn, knew he was the front runner and played the role up until he could no longer fake it.
Yeah. So yeah, and he's faking his feelings towards Jenn.
Yeah.
I do like that Jenn clocked the whole point of him being like, I. She was like, this is a lot of you, but like, I asked you about me.
Yeah. And you know what? I could also see Sam being the type of person that would want to get up to like the final two in hopes that she would choose him and be like, actually, I don't, or like leave right before the rose ceremony.
So he could be the bachelor. That's what I think his goal was at the end of the day.
For sure. Yeah. It's just, he's clearly just not
reading the room
or just intelligent. Like he's gotten away with being how he is.
Yeah.
And it's more because it's like, even if he had no interest, right? Oh, Jen's talked about her family, and her family struggle. Like, what do you love about me? Well, you're so brave. You're brave. Like, obviously it's very challenging to go through what you're going through with your family. You've been through so much and showing a lot of courage. And like that's what's so crazy about how bad he looked, is that he couldn't even save himself.
You did a whole thing where she jumped off a building, had a whole panic attack. You could have been like watching you overcome obstacles that I know is really hard for you. Seeing you jump off that building, like I know that you just anything, literally anything.
Watching Jenn, it really seemed like listen, we've all been superficial before. We've all gone for the hotties, and we always want to make the hotties work. We always want them to have the personality and have the compatibility that, but like with all the, no, but they're really great. You're surprised by how great they will be and blah, blah, blah. And like we say this to ourselves first. And you see Jenn fighting for this, this connection with Sam. Because like her instincts tell her long before this episode that Sam doesn't have it. Like it's all physical and things like that. His performance on the radio show, he embarrassed himself. And subsequently at that point, it's just like, Jenn, don't you see what we all see? But it's like she wants it to work out. She
gave him so many chances.
So many.
And I think the fact that Jeremy, who like fast forward a little bit, the fact that Jeremy got a hometown rose, shocking.
Yeah.
And he really the first we really seen him all episode, really liked the guy. He seems like a really normal guy. We had Jenn here. She talked about how much fun she had with him. I think the obvious criticism fans are going to say is it's like, why haven't we seen more of her and Jeremy?
Yeah.
And listen, they clearly have footage of her and Jeremy that we're not seeing, but I really believe that he did come out of nowhere. Like you usually don't just have the last ditched hometown. Like I was certain that she was going to send him home. I was like, oh, she's clearly going to send him home. You don't have your first one-on-one with someone you're about to take to hometowns.
Right.
We haven't really seen anything. But I really think that generally disappointed in her men. Sam M was her first impression rose. And thankfully, she trusted her instincts. And she kind of found out before. A lot of people find out after the show's done wrapped that they picked the wrong person.
Right.
Right. But I think she finally, her front runners didn't prove out to be who she wanted them to be. As much as she resisted it, she really tried to make Sam M work. And then all of a sudden it's just like, keep having fun with this Jeremy guy. So let's take him. You know, I think if you ask Jenn, I'd be willing to bet she really noticed him later on, you know, like he, the more she talked to him, the more she was like, I feel like it's like a lot of the guys who made it to the Final Four. It's like, not all of them, like Grant always seemed like a really respectful like guy. Maybe there just wasn't a connection there, but it seemed like instead of falling for the guy she took to hometowns, it seems like most of the guys that she sent home really gave her the ick at some point.
Okay.
You know, like Sam ended up giving her the ick.
Agreed, yeah.
You know,
she's eliminating not choosing.
Exactly. Thank you. She's eliminating not choosing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Jeremy was the beneficiary of like being normal, being respectful, being easy to be around, making her laugh. And there might not be a future there. They have a nice rapport. It's very friend vibes. There's not a lot of chemistry, period. But he's there. And the reason why we didn't get to see a lot of them is because there isn't still a lot of them, and there's not like those moments of like really leaning in and having that chemistry. So they kind of aired it this way.
Yeah.
I do think they have a lot of chemistry though.
I do. Yeah.
Like she even said in her confessional, like we have the same humor.
I think they have a lot of rapport.
Yeah.
I think that's different than chemistry.
Okay.
Chemistry, chemistry is chemistry. Even the toxic stuff you can see ooze out. And that's why physical chemistry is so easy to see. But like chemistry is different than having a comfortability. She seems very comfortable with Jeremy, and it makes sense why. He seems like a guy who's very good at like making people feel comfortable. Part of the right way of making people feel comfortable is not saying weird fucking things, not being awkward, not and just having something to say, just share, and he seems really good at that. But I just don't think she had eyes for him early on. I think she overlooked. And listen, and knowing what it's like to like be overwhelmed by people, like I always say, like you don't know what to trust in that environment. The only thing you can trust is your eyes. So whether you know it's who they really are outside of this bubble, it's like, well, I know they're going to look like that when I leave, And so it's just easier to trust your eyes. So Jenn and whoever the lead is, they're always going to trust their eyes first. And so Jeremy, handsome guy, but I think you're just not seeing the chemistry, but you're starting to see the rapport.
Yeah.
And that comfortability. But rapport and comfortability is not chemistry to me.
I still think that Jonathan, like, they have the most chemistry, right? Like you would say?
Yeah, but Marcus really,
True.
I mean, obviously a very heart-wrenching story, really opened up about his upbringing, his relationship with his sister, pulling the heartstrings. That was a great day. I mean, sponsored by Wicked, but it seemed like a nice date. There seemed like, I remember thinking to myself, maybe Marcus wins.
I think he's top two.
It was interesting though, the tell for her when she was saying, when they were picking between the boxes and it was slow and fast. And remember, she was like, I like to move quick. And he was like, it takes me a while. And she was like, well, that's kind of a red flag for me. That was kind of an interesting take because I feel like most people are always like, I want to take things slow. I don't want to rush into things. And she was like, no, this might actually be an issue. I need you to be on my page.
Yeah, but I took it more as when she said red flag, not the type of red flag that she's going to be like, I can't date this guy.
Yeah.
I think she says it as like quite honestly, it's going to make her like him more.
You think so?
Sure. It's just like, well, especially since he does open up, but that initial feeling, there is no greater powerful feeling in that environment, the lead worrying about the person they like, not liking them back the same.
Right.
You are in a position of power as the lead. You're told that like everyone wants you, everyone hopes to end up with you. 25 to 35 people show up. You are literally the star. And so you're told that you're the star. And like there's this like an embedded expectation that if you hand out a rose, they're going to accept.
Right.
We obviously know that's not always the case, but generally speaking, that is the feeling that you feel. So the fear of rejection's even greater once you realize, wait a second, like these people don't have to accept my roses. I actually might like someone and they don't like me back the same. Those are very human feelings in this environment. And there is no greater powerful feeling than the lead worrying about the person they like, not liking them back, which then makes them like it even more. It's the thing you get, like,
okay.
If you ever like someone and then like you they don't like you back, that you put them on a pedestal immediately. There's something different about it. You can't explain it. Why do I like them so much? And sometimes it's just the knowing that you don't think they like you.
Yeah.
Because and all the reasons that Jenn likes people in this environment, like again, like on some level are surface level because it's a surface level atmosphere. There's always such limited time. Like it's not any of these people's fault. It's the environment's fault. Right. So like her not knowing how he feels about her is a scary feeling and it's definitely a red flag, but naturally it makes you like that person more. That was the part that makes me think, I think Marcus could win. The misdirection, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
I
they love
still
that.
think I'm going to go Jonathan.
I'm going Jonathan too.
Well, our final four is Devin, Jonathan, Jeremy, and Marcus.
Devin, I feel like definitely doesn't have a chance of winning, and I only say that now because like he's involved in the Sam drama. Sam's digging his own grave now. I don't need your commentary now, Devin. It's like, but they're airing it, and it's just like he's not rising above.
I feel like he wasn't very prevalent this episode either because they've been so focused on his reactions to Sam. And now that Sam dug his own grave and buried himself,
What's
like
the storyline?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. We had it's like it was Marcus's episode, obviously, then, Grant's episode a little bit too with him going home. So there's other people to focus on.
Ugh, I was sad about Spencer. I really liked him.
I liked him too.
I'm excited. I hope they have him on Paradise because I think he'll find a nice girl.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
I just don't think him and Jenn had any
Real chemistry.
Yeah.
Grant, on the other hand, I was also kind of surprised too. I kind of thought that they had a little thing going, so I didn't see him not getting a rose.
I thought Grant was, I think we all thought Grant was like top 4.
Yeah.
Because she was really attracted to him too.
Yeah, I
I
feel
feel like they had good
great
chemistry.
Yeah, their dates were so cute. Their conversations flowed.
Yeah, I would love to know what happened between him and Jenn.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
more
stronger...
from Jen's perspective, really, because Grant won't have any answers. It's like, why do you, Grant probably was surprised.
I don't know either, dude.
No, I don't,
I thought it was going well.
She didn't give me a rose, but like, I would have loved to have knowing what we know now. I'm curious why Jenn, she would have given some canned answer, but.
Yeah, but even to your point though, where it's like Jeremy kind of came out of nowhere, and then her and Grant like had great dates, one-on-ones. So it's like, yeah, how did Jeremy sneak in and Grant was just not the one?
Yeah, Spencer calling his mom.
They're
was
just
sad.
like them like playing it out.
That made me think that he was gonna be the next Bachelor. That you included like the mom to give kind of like that like sad edit of like, oh, he deserves more, let's bring him back. Like that's what I kind of thought.
think when they do moments like that, they don't know who their next Bachelor is going to be when they're filming it in that moment, and they're always going to do things for guys that they think have a chance, or who knows how things play out. I mean, listen, Grant's the Bachelor, and so he went home literally the same time as Spencer. But this is definitely a different, and them announcing early, it's so they could have made Spencer the Bachelor, but yeah, they definitely, calling your mom is
a little.
It can go both ways,
It could go both ways, yeah.
Yeah, especially with Spencer.
But just like the mom going like, "What happened? Oh no!" And he's
Her like repeatedly calling him baby.
He said,
"Yeah, I don't know."
That was sad. It made me
So
teary.
sad.
Listen, no one loves their mom more than me, but like as an adult man talking on the phone with mom, it's a fine line. It's a fine line.
Okay.
Yeah, just you want to be close, but not too close.
Who did you call first after getting sent home? Your season.
My parents, yeah.
So,
I have no problem with him calling his parents.
Did she tell you everything was going to be okay?
It's just like when that's aired in that vulnerable moment, knowing that some sons can be too close with mom. It was a great moment, but you know what I'm saying? We just don't know. What I'm saying, it's not the home run in the court of public opinion that other moments could be if we're trying to like show someone in a good light.
There you go.
A simple call from mom where there's a lot of love and closeness there without a lot of context can be perceived in a lot of different ways.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think that's all we're saying.
yeah.
That is all we're
It does
saying.
make me want to know more about Grant though. So,
Well, we'll get to know Grant this Thursday on Going Deeper, the Viall Files. But before we get to Grant, tomorrow's Going Deeper is with the very multi-talented Grammy Award winner, Carly Pierce is with us for an really just amazing episode of Going Deeper. I cannot wait for you guys to hear Carly, and certainly from Grant on Thursday. It's going to be a wild, wild week. Plus next week, we got some Love Island people. It's going to be great. See you then. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.